Welcome back to Talk Illini. We are your one-stop source for all Illini news, brought to you by Orange and Blue News and the On3 Network. My name is Sonny Verma. We're speaking pretty positively. Illinois Nation feels pretty good after another 113-70 victory over Florida Gulf Coastal on Friday evening, but not all the news is well currently. Because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to talk about news that dropped before Friday night's game. And yeah, it's somewhat of a gut punch. Tomislav Ivišić is hurt. He went down in practice on Wednesday, injured his knee, and before the ball went up on Friday, Brad Underwood ruled him out. We don't know the exact severity, at least at the time of this recording, so we don't know the exact timetable. But we do know this. It's not season ending, and that, my friends, is a piece of good news that we can cling on to for now. Brad Underwood said this after the game: "I think we'll know more, but I would expect him to miss a little bit. I don't know what that looks like." To me, that quote tells you a lot. They're waiting. They're hopeful, but it's serious enough to expect some time off. And you just got to feel for Tommy. This dude cannot catch a break. Last year, he misses time with mono, comes back and then sprains his ankle, and he still plays through it. Then he gets his tonsils out in October, misses over 2 to 3 weeks of practice and conditioning, finally starts to look like himself again. And now his knee injury happens 2 days before the second game of the season. It's almost comical at this point, except it's not funny at all. Brad had this to say: "The one thing I know about Tommy is he's maybe as tough as any kid that I've coached." And that's true. For a second, go back and take a look at his history. The guy's been through surgeries, illness, injuries, and every single time he comes back faster than expected. He's got that old school pro mentality. No whining, no drama, just work. So yeah, we can call this what it is: a huge loss. But I also think we can confidently say that Tommy's not going to disappear. He'll be back. And when he comes back, he's going to be better than ever. But let's take a moment and be honest here. This one hurts because Tomislav isn't just a starter. In my opinion, he's the engine that makes all of this work. Last season, he averaged 13 points, nearly 8 rebounds, and was shot 50% from the floor. One of the most efficient bigs in the Big Ten. And this year's opener, he went for 21 points on 9 of 12 shooting. You saw what this offense looks like when he's on the floor. Everything just runs smoother. He spaces the floor. He's an elite passer out of the high post. He can shoot, he can steal, and defensively, he's decent enough, and he just understands where he needs to be. He's not a rah-rah guy, but make no mistake, he's the backbone of this Illinois team. So yeah, when you lose that guy, your best player, there's no pretending that it's just business as usual. But here's where I take a step back and remind everyone why depth matters. Because not many programs can lose their best player in November and still roll out a front court like this one. Let's start off with Zvonimir Ivišić. The twin brothers stepped into the starting lineup against Florida Gulf Coast and gave you 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 blocks. I repeat, 7 blocks. Brad had this to say afterwards: "It was nice to see Z impact the game in other ways. I've really been challenging him on the glass. He's had 9 in both games." That's the words of a coach who's proud, because we all know Z's reputation coming in. Perimeter-oriented, finesse, more stretch 5 than rim protector. But on Friday night, he showed both floor spacing and rim protection. He went 3 of 6 from the three-point land on Friday night. He also gives Illinois something Tommy doesn't always, and that's true shot blocking presence. He was second in the SEC in block rate last year, and you can see at least 2 games in that that's translating. And the best part, he allows Illinois to keep its identity. You can still play 5 out. You can still run your sets through a big. You can still make teams guard all 5 spots. And then we can also discuss the other option at the 5 spot, the kid that we've been discussing for over a month now here on Talk Illini, and that's David Mirković. This kid really does look like he's for real. The freshman has been everything Illinois hoped for and more. Another double-double on Friday, 17 and 11. Underwood loves players that process quickly, and Mirković fits that mold. So if you're trying to figure out how Illinois adjusts, I'm guessing a heavy dose of Big Z at the center spot. He's now your starter back there. But then maybe you mix in a little bit of Mirković at the 5. Maybe every now and then Ben Hummerkaus, he gains some weight. And so for certain lineups, he can come in at 5. And let's just be honest. What about Jason Jaxtis? A kid who you didn't expect to play much this season. And again, I don't think I'd feel comfortable with him playing 15, 20 minutes a game. But maybe he can spot you 5-10 minutes, at least in the short term, while Tomi gets healthy. He showed enough in the first 2 games that I think he belongs on a college basketball court. And if there's one thing that we've learned about Brad Underwood's teams, it's that they don't fold when adversity hits. He's been through this before. Last year, it was illnesses, injuries, suspensions, and he still found a way to get to March. 2 years ago, we all recall that Brad Underwood lost Terrence Shannon Jr., the second best player in college basketball that year, for a stretch. And what did they do? They just simply adapted. Underwood did say again this weekend, I don't say what if. I know that even though there's some hard times or uncomfortable things right now, we're going to be better on the other side of it. That's a coach who's been hardened by experience. He's not rattled, and he's certainly not panicking. And that attitude filters down to the players. You can see it in how guys like Mirković and Zvonimir play. They're confident, they're assertive, and now they're going to be ready to step up. So short term, expect a few changes. Without Tomi, Illinois is likely going to lean on Zvonimir as the new starter in that starting 5. They're going to give Mirković not just extended run at the 4 spot, but also maybe some backup minutes at the center, especially when they need more rebounding and physicality. And then maybe you're just going to, revert back to the old Coleman Hawkins style small ball looks with athletic wings like Stojakovic sliding up when needed. And the biggest key, the guards will have to help on the glass. You can't replace Tomi's rebounding with one guy. It's going to be a collective effort, which makes sense because we know how much of a push Brad Underwood is making on this team and its performance on the glass. The silver lining, you've got playmakers all over the floor now. Mihailo Petrovic hopefully gets cleared sooner rather than later. Kylan Boswell has found his rhythm. Andrej Stojakovic soon, hopefully, is going to get to full health. The team has options. It's not who can play, it's who fits at which moment. So yeah, losing Tomi for any stretch of time is a massive blow. He's your best player, and in my opinion, he is your tone setter. But, and this is a big but, I'm cautiously optimistic. Because if there's one roster in the Big Ten built to handle a setback like this, it's Illinois. They've got depth, they've got size, and they've got leadership. You can survive a month without your star if everyone else does their job. And right now, this group looks mature enough to do exactly that. So we'll wait to hear official word on the knee. We'll hope for the best. But in the meantime, Illinois fans, don't panic. You've got a head coach who's been through this before. And you've got a roster deep enough to keep winning despite your best player being out. This isn't the first storm Illinois has had to weather. And if you've been watching Brad Underwood teams long enough, you know this isn't going to be the last. But I can confidently say that this team is going to come out stronger. Let me know in the comment section how you think the Illini are going to look over the next month or so, whatever it might be with Tomislav out. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, my name is Sonny Verma. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for nonstop Illinois content. We're a brand new channel, still trying to build our community base. So make sure you like this particular video. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll hopefully have a Texas Tech preview up very soon. And then we're also going to do a post game. Until next time, IL.